Hi, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cutout shirt inspired by Carven Spring 2012. So what you're going to need is a button-down shirt. I just got this one from the thrift store for $1, but you can use any old shirt that you have. Just don't use one that's super special in case you mess up. It should be a large enough fit that you can comfortably button it up to the collar. You're also going to need a bit of fabric in a similar weight and or color to the shirt that you're using, a marking pen, scissors, and also matching thread, pins, and some sewing supplies, whether that's a sewing machine or hand sewing skills and materials. So the first thing you'll want to do is try the shirt on and figure out where you want the cutout to be. I would aim on the smaller side because it's probably going to be bigger than you think it will be when you actually cut it out, and you don't want to be hanging out of your shirt. You can always cut it bigger if it's not big enough. So when you mark out the cutout, start at the area right below the collar seam. And you can sort of eyeball the oval shape as I'm doing, or you can make a template, or you can measure it out with a ruler. Do whatever you want. But once you have the area marked, just carefully cut it out. Then try the shirt on again to make sure you like how the hole looks and the size and everything. Then lay out your matching fabric and trace the circle that you cut out of the shirt onto the fabric. Do it sort of in the middle of the fabric so that there's at least 2 inches all the way around. Then cut the inside of that circle out from the fabric. What we're doing here is making a facing. So you'll take the facing and match it up to the hole in your shirt, putting the right side against the right side, so the right side of the facing against the right side of the shirt. And then pin it all the way around the hole. Then you're going to sew this all the way around the edge of the hole, but avoid the collar area by about 1 inch on each side. Now you can trim off some of the excess around the hole, but leave about 1.5 inches all the way around. And lay your shirt out again and cut the facing right down the middle of the collar area. Then take the 2 like flap type things of the facing and line them up to the very edge of the collar seam, and then stitch them right up to that seam. With a facing, what you do is fold it inside the garment so that you have like a clean outer seam, or it actually just looks like a fold. It looks very like polished and professional. So what we're going to do is fold that facing in, but to make sure that it stays inside you need to understitch it. So what that means is just stitching that outer bit of seam allowance into the facing, not to the shirt. Stitch it to the facing. Hopefully you can understand what I'm showing you here. You just want to do a small stitch right there all the way around. This is what the understitching on the facing should look like. I've done it in black so you can see it better. After you've done the understitching, iron your facing under so that you can just make sure that it's going to stay. Then we're going to take care of this flap by the collar. Cut it on a slight diagonal downwards as shown, and now it should just about line up with the edge of the collar seam. Trim it so that it doesn't go past the shoulder seam. If you have a serger, it'll come in handy right now for finishing off the edge of this facing. If you don't have one, a zigzag stitch with a sewing machine around the edge of the facing will work to stop the edges from fraying. So after stitching, trim away any excess. Then to really make sure your facing is secure, you can sew it to like the inside points, like the collar seams or behind the pocket, just in places where the stitches aren't going to show on the outside of the shirt. So I did this by hand, and I just put some little stitches at the collar and behind the pocket, like I said. And then you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.